if you study much about the Belt Road, it really dovetails like a hand in glove into the Belt Road, or into the BRICS rather. And, because of the infrastructure that is being set up, whether you're talking about everything that we mentioned already with GDP and military might and human population and natural resources and all of those things, but they've also done an amazing job in infrastructure in terms of roads and bridges and maritime channels and ways of industrializing parts of the world that never were industrialized, and doing it in a mutually cooperative way. And again, we talk about settlement, not in the dollar. When you talk about hundreds of trillions of dollars in settlement in other currencies, like I said, Brazil is now, China just canceled huge grain contracts with Australia and the United States, and they're buying them from Russia and paying for it in yuan, which is convertible into gold, which is what? The tier one asset. And Brazil selling corn and soybeans to China, for yuan, convertible into gold. And all of these trades where even, China won a huge contract with Iran to modernize their biggest airport. They're paying for it in oil. All of these things used to settle in dollars. So listen to this regarding the Belt Road Initiative. The Chinese government has just launched a new public blockchain infrastructure platform led by the Conflux Network. The new platform, dubbed Ultra Large Scale Blockchain Infrastructure Platform for the Belt Road Initiative. And the main focus of the project is to create a public blockchain infrastructure platform that will be able to support the implementation of cross-border cooperation projects along the Belt Road Initiative.
In this video, Andy Schectman delves into the intricate dynamics of global finance, shedding light on the profound implications of initiatives like the Belt and Road and the strategic maneuvers of key geopolitical players. As we navigate through a pivotal moment in history, Schectman provides valuable insights into the shifting economic landscapes and the potential role of assets like gold and blockchain technology. Throughout our discussion, we've explored how the Belt and Road Initiative dovetails seamlessly into the broader geopolitical strategies of the BRICS nations. With a focus on infrastructure development and cross-border cooperation, this initiative reshapes the global economic stage, challenging the traditional dominance of the US dollar. Moreover, Schectman highlights the strategic moves of nations like China and Russia, emphasizing their efforts to promote non-dollar settlement methods and foster alliances that diminish US influence. From currency swaps to blockchain infrastructure, these actions underscore a seismic shift in the global financial order. Let's get back to the video.
You're talking 75% of human population, 50% of global GDP just in the Belt Road. And all of the OPEC countries, every one of them on the Belt Road. So you put the OPEC countries on the Belt Road, you got the Belt Road, you got the Shanghai Cooperation Organization, which is the largest regional and financial and military organization on the planet, along with the BRICS and the Eurasian Economic Union. They're all the same countries. In fact, the president of Belarus has called for a summit to bring the SCO and the Eurasian Economic Union into the BRICS. I've been saying that for years. It will happen. It's the same countries. You're talking almost 90% of human population and the majority of all the commodities. And now you have not only the majority of all the shipping lanes and all of these new north-south corridor and east-west, all of these corridors that are proprietary, that will only be patrolled by military and commerce, where the U.S. Navy doesn't have access to a lot of this. And now you have a payment system using like the Project M Bridge or this new blockchain for all of these countries. 75% of human population, as is right now, to trade outside the dollar. And that's why I'm very fond of this phrase, little by little, then all at once, logarithmic decay. You know, people are always blowing off and naysaying and poo-pooing and ignoring the little by little because it takes so long. And not only that, our media does no job of telling us it takes so long, but then they're blown away by the all at once, how fast it happens. But if you take a step back and look at the changes we've seen in the way that the United States is viewed globally, in the way that the dollar is now lacking in settlement for so many forms of commodities globally, the way that all of these exchanges and infrastructures and you know, whether it be, you know, geographic infrastructures or monetary infrastructures are being set up that when they flip the switch, the all at once will catch the world by surprise in a massive, massive way. And, like I said, Richard Russell always said they have to inflate or die. The Fed, he said this 20 years ago. I've always said, well, find a villain. When you have Janet Yellen going around the world saying, we're going to sanction you, and you, yet we're able to do this stuff, or we can invade Iraq 20 years ago, still occupy their country, still sanction 14 of their banks, destroy their country, and bring in a new regime, and yet we're still there and controlling their oil revenue, where they made $95 billion in oil revenue last year, and a few months ago asked for $1 billion. We said it's not a good time. So they're kicking coalition forces out of the country. They are making trading in dollars illegal. If you own a business and do so, you'll go to jail. And they just formally applied to the BRICS. So the world looks at us as being hypocritical as hell, but yet we can say, you can do this, we can do this, but you can't. And this is all happening as they're building infrastructures and alliances. And, people say, who will trust China? Who will trust Russia? Well, who the hell's going to trust the U.S. anymore? And that's where gold and a marriage perhaps of blockchain technology, like they're talking about here, where you have immutability and veracity shown of what is on the ledger and who is behind it. And you have it audited, and you have a system that inspires trust rather than, and in a cooperative manner, mind you. I'm not saying the Chinese or the Belt Road or the BRICS are perfect, but nor are we any longer. And then when you look what's happened to the country, I would say if it was just this, we'd be all right. But look what's happened to the United States, where you question the authenticity of the electoral system, of the judicial system. You have open borders where 12 million people have entered illegally, where you have lawlessness and homelessness in the cities to epidemic proportions, where you have wokeness, where you don't respect authority, where you don't respect your teachers and your parents, and you're hired in government and on Wall Street, not based upon merit, but based upon, your gender or your sex, or, all of these things. People look at this country like, what the hell's happened? And then we have massive runaway inflation. We have a bond market that is, for the first time in 45 years, more volatile than the price of gold. All of these things coming together at once. Andrew, I really do believe, honest to God, we're at the foothills of a once in a generational move. And either you see it for what it is or you don't. And I believe it's too stupid to be stupid. It's intended. If you wanted to be the world, and by the way, let's not forget Jared Bernstein, the lead economic advisor of the United States government. Google Jared Bernstein dethroned King Dollar. This is a man who's written reports on the US dollar world reserve currency is a privilege we can no longer afford. We should shed it. Well, let's weaponize the dollar. Let's sign an executive order to go green, which is the linchpin of the hegemony. We'll weaponize the dollar, making everyone in the Southern Hemisphere never trust us again. We'll destabilize the crap out of our country, create massive divisiveness. We're not united anymore. We're black, white, red, blue, rich, poor, immigrant, you name it. We let 12 million people here in illegally. We're already insolvent in terms of our debt to GDP. We're broke. Who's going to pay for these people? How about if 1% of them want to do something dangerous to the United States? Yesterday on the news, there are groups of people saying death to the United States, in the United States, having meetings, chanting death to the U.S., death to the U.S. And we let these people in, and we think that's okay. I think people look at the United States, what once was considered a beacon of hope and liberty and freedom and justice, where people sail across an ocean on inner tubes tied together with strings, or walk from Central America across the border, not in droves of millions, but onesie twosie, to find a better life. And they get here, and this is what they see. I played golf yesterday with a man who was from Morocco. And he said, I didn't move here for this shit. He said, when I came here in 2005, it was an amazing place. And now I look around me and I wonder where the hell I am. I want to leave. And this, I'm dead serious. So you ask yourself, if being the world reserve currency was really important to us, would we have ever weaponized the dollar? Would we have ever signed an executive order to go green? Would we have ever made the world question our electoral and judicial system? Would we have ever had open borders? Would we have ever created more money in 4 years and in the history of the country preceding it, while squashing interest rates to create massive distortions in all of our asset prices? Would we be so wholly hypocritical going around the globe and sanctioning all of these countries for doing things arguably, by their own estimation, far less egregious than what we do. And you put it together and you say, are our politicians that stupid, or are what they doing, is it just too stupid to be stupid? Could it really be intended? Because either you fall on the sword and default, we're sorry, our brain dead monetary and fiscal policy did this. Do you inflate the way that all politicians have done, which lead to the same end road? Or do you have option 3? And that is to find a villain. And it was those sons of bitches, Xi Jinping and Putin and OPEC. How could they do this to us? How could they dump the dollar? Because the synthetic demand for the dollar that has been created for over 50 years, where every country in the world has had to stockpile it in order to buy oil, like that, goes away.
In conclusion, Andy Schectman's insights into the global economic landscape and the implications of initiatives like the Belt and Road offer a profound perspective on the current state of affairs. Through his analysis, we've gained a deeper understanding of the strategic maneuvers of key players and the shifting dynamics of global finance. As we stand at a pivotal moment in history, marked by geopolitical tensions and economic uncertainties, Schectman's commentary prompts us to consider the implications for the future. From the decline of the US dollar's dominance to the rise of alternative settlement methods, the financial world is undergoing significant transformations. In this rapidly evolving environment, staying informed and understanding the motivations behind these strategic moves becomes paramount. Schectman's discussion encourages us to remain vigilant and to contemplate the broader implications of these developments. We invite you to subscribe to our channel for more insightful discussions and analysis from industry experts like Andy Schectman. By staying engaged and informed, we can navigate through these transformative times with clarity and foresight. Thank you for joining us, and we look forward to continuing this journey together.